Oh. Marty, there's no sound. No sound.
How about now? Good afternoon.
Oh,
Welcome to
there's sound.
Die Dragon Die presents the Dread and Circus campaign, season 4, episode 21. I'm your demon host Marty, joined by Ahmed and Adam. How is everyone doing tonight? Hot mics.
It's hot and all the things.
It's hot. It's hot and all the things. There we go.
So
Happy
that air
guys.
conditioner that we bought, that heat pump for the house, it's nice being able to come home and be like, it's going to be 23 Celsius in all the rooms.
See, it's 23 Celsius outside today in Seattle. I'm not happy until it's 16
17
in all the rooms.
I know, Marty.
See, here's the thing. I still have to pay the power bill.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And unlike most of the states where electricity is getting cheaper, in Ontario it's getting more expensive because we have invested poorly in solutions.
People are of the stupid.
Got a case of stupid.
All right. So your balls are cold, and Ahmed, are you? How are your balls?
I got AC, man.
Okay, good. Welcome back to Canada. Oh wait, you were back in Canada last time. That's right.
There's AC in Egypt too, but it's nice. My AC's nicer.
So, when I was teaching in Suzhou, they would set the AC to 28. That would be the AC temperature. When you went into the AC room, that was 28 Celsius. And that would be the target temperature. It wouldn't get there. So it would be running constantly, trying to get to 28. Yeah, nah.
It's like that bad Christian Slater movie. Is it Christian Slater or is it the fucking I'm Winning guy? There's a sci-fi, like a B sci-fi movie where the aliens have like heat generating machines and they're trying to basically heat up the atmosphere. That's happening.
The one with Tom Cruise. They're sucking the water or something out of the.
You know, there's a couple of them that are War of the Worlds is what you're thinking.
Oblivion or something like that. It was recent. He was like no, I'm ruining a movie for people. Anyway, don't worry about it.
It probably was ruined from the factory. Just.
I hate movie previews that show you what the movie's about and they ruin it for you.
I do not watch. I try not to watch
previews.
I
know.
It's like instead of teasing you, they tell you about the whole fucking thing, and then comedy fucking previews are the worst because they take the best joke from the fucking movie and stick it in the preview.
This is what made the Deadpool preview so magical because they filmed many jokes.
Yep.
So they had different jokes in the spots where the preview jokes were. So when you got to the point in the film, it's like, it's going to be the Rosie O'Donnell joke. But it's a different Rosie O'Donnell joke.
One of the best movies.
Speaking
Godfather, Deadpool.
like nobody would watch our stream if we told you what was going to happen in game and then it all happened. No, it just wouldn't work.
Burp at some point.
All right. Now the other hour and 27 minutes are worthless. If you're lucky, it's that short. Movies have been getting fucking long. It's like, why won't this thing end? I watch a lot of movies, and I realize that my brain shuts off when the conflict is resolved by shooting and cars chasing each other. You have all this beautiful setup, and then it's like it's a shootout. And I'll like wander around my apartment and do something else. I just sort of like, oh, I'm bored now, and then go and poke through some books. And, exactly.
I really like the shoot bang movies with car chases.
Yeah, but you have this intelligence set up to a movie. I'm like broad stroking. It's sort of like it's like all this nuance, and all of a sudden now the guy who has no business being in a gunfight is going to solve the problem via gunfight.
Well, so. The John Wick trilogy it's so good. It's like shoot 'em up.
But
that movie.
But the movie is about shooting up.
It's about shooting people.
It doesn't. Point. It's like, oh, and now we're gonna have this dramatic wrestle scene. It's like, well, these two characters. Yeah, I guess it's dramatic, but this is how we're gonna decide the end of the conflict. Oh. And I like it's like it just feels so lazy. There's a lot of film and movie that and TV that I see, and it just devolves into
I remember
Laziness.
Avengers.
Kenny experiences the same thing we do.
Yep.
In Avengers Endgame, that movie was long, and I didn't time my bladder properly. It was the first time as an adult I'm like, I'm gonna have to leave the theater to pee because I will piss myself. All like whoever's in
I was warned before going in. Don't drink
Funny.
big drinks.
Go
Go to the
no,
bathroom
no,
before
no
you
spoilers. I don't go to see things very often in the theaters, so which means I'm Netflixing everything, which means I'm way
okay,
behind.
so no spoilers, but
Yeah.
I went to the gym beforehand, and I was like, I drank the water, and then I drank the post-workout, and I drank the thing, and then I drank the protein shake. So there's lots of drinking, and then like an hour and a half in, when things are doing a thing, it was like, no, you're gonna go take
Not
a
good.
3-minute whiz. This is.
So I don't know if you have the show in the U.S. It's called Legion. It's on Netflix.
Yes,
Netflix
I
show?
have watched both the movie and the
The show.
series. Yep.
I really like the movie.
I didn't see the movie, but the show is brilliant. I love it.
It's the Angels one, right? It's about the end of days and angels coming back and.
Okay, no, the Legion is.
I was
there's a
gonna
bunch of
say
things called,
that TV show actually sucked pretty hard. So I was like,
No,
I'm glad we're not
there's-
talking about the same thing because Alvin was like, ooh.
Legion, there's multiple shows or TV or movies called Legion. This Legion is the son of Charles Xavier, who's the most powerful telepath psychic mutant there is, and it's such a trippy show.
So I thought you were talking about the 2010 movie Legion, which was about the apocalypse.
Yes, the bad. That was pretty cool. I liked it.
I like that movie.
The movie
liked it.
the
It was
movie
pretty
is
cool.
better than the TV show. The TV show kind of, I don't know. I got bored at the end.
No, the Legion I'm talking about is Legio with an X in it, and
This.
let me
David
see.
Haller is a troubled young man diagnosed with schizophrenic.
Yes.
And after a strange encounter, he discovers special powers that will change his life forever.
I didn't even know this was a show, and they're in their third season.
This show, it's so awesome. I can't find it on Netflix in Canada. I actually watched it on Netflix when I was in Egypt,
Interesting.
and I binged it because I was leaving and I didn't know if it was in Canada. I was like, I've only got 2 days.
What was the last thing I binged? I binged over the last week and a half 4 seasons of The Tudors.
Is that any good? Well, you watched 4 seasons, so I guess it is.
Well, no, it is.
Is that a Canadian show?
You just watched it because you started watching.
Dude, I consume a lot of media. I'll do other things on in the background. This is a show where I was playing Civilization at the same time as poking around in a book, and it was on the background. Or I had it in the background when I was working from home because I almost broke my back, kind of thing. Sleeping.
Why don't
What happened? What were you doing?
You upgrade
Took
your
a nap.
bed? I mean,
No, I was sleeping in the couch.
And
why don't you
it's
upgrade your couch? Upgrade, just
The
upgrade.
couch is fucking amazing. It's just
It is
it's a
actually.
sectional and part of it like moved.
Shifted.
So,
Upgrade your spine.
yes. and my hip was in the fucking nook, and I woke up and I'm like, oh, this is not going to be good. This is wrong.
Oh, did I tell you about? I was sleeping on an air mattress, and the air mattress had this unfolding sort of box spring that was just a bunch of spikes that sort of like stay out on the ground. And I was sleeping on the air mattress, and my mom's cat jumped on the air mattress in the night, and then I shooed the cat away, but lo and behold, it poked a hole in the air mattress. So I'm sleeping there, it starts out fine, and you fall asleep, and then it deflates. And then you've got like a series of 6 spikes just rammed in particular orifices, and like one in the middle of your back, and then one in your hip, holding you up, and you're suspended. It's got like 6 spikes.
The next 2 days are gonna suck.
Well, when you wake up, I woke up like, oh god, this is so painful. Why am I so tired?
No, I work
And
from
it's
home
like, how do I get out of this?
3 days last week. Because
Reflex save.
of it. Okay. Why don't we do a quick recap of what happened last game? I renamed last game to the Monastery Atop the World, which is the name of the monastery that is atop one of the mountains of
I believe
Twin Mounts of Avicii.
Ahmed beat ass and then got ass beat, I think is the short version.
Grintharke is drawn by a great storm above the westerly mount of the Twin Peaks of Avicii. There, he does battle with a storm priest and an elemental called the Living Lightning. His companions follow, and some enter the monastery atop the world, their lives changed forever. The great seal of the gods is broken, and mythical powers are unleashed upon the world once more. The old gods start their departure as the new powers select their champions. Ymeri warns of the Arcanists of the Imperial Royal Family and the Nethergeists of the Shadow King, two factions that are believed to have stripped the world of mythical powers and creatures long ago. Now, there seems to be some chaos that has happened amongst the ranks.
And then?
So I've just got the map open. I think we need to go back to the picture of the monastery. So let me open up that campaign.
Typically, Stream knows that I am really terrible at watching the games. Like, I normally watch the games that I missed after the next game, and then I kind of use the hints from the next game to cherry pick with the sections I should watch.
Yep.
I watched this one ahead of time. Most of it. Like, I watched the 4.5 hours in about an hour and a half. Yeah, stuff happened.
Tutors, there's probably better, like, kind of English early to late Middle Ages or Renaissance courtly king type movies or series. This one was all about how much England changed because Henry kept on wanting a new wife. Henry VIII. It was like a scary amount of change that happened to
they created a different sect of the church.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and the Church of England was powerful. Like, the Church of England is still powerful.
He was absolute power is also bad. Is really what comes out of that. I know he's remembered as one of the greater monarchs because he was one of the longer reigning monarchs, but absolute power, just a few scenes in that, it was just like, oh, okay. Piss off one dude and you're dead. That's not good. So, going back to this. So, Grintharke consumed the living lightning and received the blessing of the voice in the storm. You now have a new god, as well as one mythic rank. Zita was reunited with with her brother in a strange sort of way, becoming the aspect of the first elf, and received one mythic rank bestowed upon her by the Seldarine as they departed Turak, or began their departure from this particular world. She learned that the reason why they're departing is that there is a battle to come against strange and bizarre and very powerful entities from the Otra. Murgovain received a seed that is a dormant seed of Yggdrasil. He now knows that if he travels to a certain place in Yggdrasil, Yggdrasil will try to breathe life back into it. And he thinks at the same time he might be able to siphon some of the power for himself.
Does the seed smell like Lemmy?
Mayhaps.
For the audience, it looks exactly like the seed that Lemmy had. Now, whether it's the exact seed, like plants kind of had more seeds, we don't know.
I think Lemmy had his seed. Check.
Lemmy never used his seed.
No, he never did. He was kept as a get out of jail free card because he expected like you drop the seed and immediately the tree shuts up. It's instant fortress.
Zyra was given a gift of the blessed moonstone, which is a piece of her goddess. Ymeri basically told Zyra, there is no power for you here. The power of your goddess is actually seen in the night sky. Go there. Zyra has a strange goddess in that while some of the gods have decided to abandon Turak, how does the moon abandon Turak? Like, Lear is probably not going anywhere.
Until they invent really big rockets, it's kind of stuck.
Right. So her faith is firm, and I remember the comment. I don't remember whether it was in character or not, where it's like, no, Zyra was not going to change faith to the new powers.
Yeah, there's no way.
Cade received an ass whooping. As are your
monks call that insight.
as our Ymeri was expecting a Palorite to arrive, a disciple of Saint Vimaris of Palor, of the Order of the First Light, and instead got a venom-fisted, iron-hearted warrior who switched his devotion to that of Hextor because it would give him more power. Our Ymeri does not like Cade. Does not like Cade, and basically said that next time you come here, he will kill you. Like, it won't be a play match.
I won't pull any punches either.
We'll find a way to get you to be able to beat him, because you.
Renee was warned not to step foot in the temple, for he will be destroyed. He said that there's nothing here for you, nothing in this temple here for you. But he also sort of insinuated that there might be other places where both the old gods and the new powers have stowed or will bestow their blessings. We'll get to what Renee notices in one of his quivers in a moment. Widget. If we rewind, when everyone was looking down into the top of that monastery and seeing different things, Widget saw swirling shadows around his home, and that is what drew Widget into the temple. Widget, when he was down there, saw his village. But the shadows began to grow long around the village. It was as if, no, she's come to the village. The shadows are closing in. Does Widget stand and watch, or does he go into the village?
He goes into the village. Is there any sense of, like, when?
You haven't been home in a long time, so it feels like now?
Okay, we go to the village.
Okay, you go running to the village. Yeah, you see the village is there. Everything is kind of as you remember it, and there are no people around.
What is this?
You notice that there's a bunch of clapping. People cheering and whistling.
Where?
It's in the village square. It's the center of town. It's near, there's a small stage there where performances happen, where public speeches are made. It's a gathering place, basically. An open-air gathering place. Widget, you recognize the banners. It's one of the festival days.
This is going to be bad. You'll try to warn people?
Okay, you go running, and you stop for a moment, and you recognize what's going on stage. This was the day that Widget came out to his family that he was a wizard. You see your young self on stage, and you remember using cantrips to make puppets move. And you put on basically like a ye old rabbit in the hat magic show with moving puppets. And you actually remember people delighted at this. You would later learn that your family was not delighted, as
No.
this meant that you crept into the forbidden library, the forbidden portion of the library, and had been secretly studying from arcane tomes, some of which were incredibly dangerous, some of which, oh yeah, there was that one book. The book from which you heard weeping. The book still gives you chills to this day, for it was a strange love story? Of this great and powerful giant. You interpreted it as a giant, but you've learned more since then, and it was actually a titan. A giant amongst giant kind, who fell in love with a raven-haired beauty. The passions of this giant were such that even though their love was forbidden by the other giants of giant kind, this beautiful and bewitching beauty was your love, and became, over time, your most ensorcelled love. The charms of that woman upon the giant of giants' hearts was that of legend. And this giant slowly, at first because of the whimsical nature of the woman, but later in cruel calculations, this love and desire and lust for the raven-haired beauty was his undoing. For you see, the giant of giants had a destiny. He was supposed to sit upon a great throne that the giant of giants had waiting for him, his inheritance, by birth, by blood, and by deed. This woman, while at first their love was pure, this woman also had a destiny. She had her own throne to rule upon. But something happened to that throne. Something wrong. It was subtle at first, but the shadow of shadows passed over that throne and slowly made this woman mad.
Which mad? Angry mad or crazy mad?
Crazy. Corrupted. Rotten to the core. And this is where you showed you made an apple basically took a bite of itself and it was all rotten in the inside, and kids went ew. And you were like, this is a fun story I read in the weird book that I thought I heard weeping from. Widget.
Gnomes have a racial hatred against giants. That's an odd book. It's an odd story.
The raven-haired lady was an elf. And the Shadow of Shadows had a very, very draconic look to it. And that dragon, you remember, the dragon was only a shape that it took, so that it could even be conceived by the minds of mortals. In the end, the Titan fell from the graces of his own people, from the graces of all giant kind, and his heart was stolen. You don't know if that's metaphor or not. And he was forced, through this bewitching charm and near domination, to help her rise as he fell, and became an abomination upon this world, who, like snuffing out a candle, could snuff the goodness from someone. But the thing about Titans is that they are powerful and have strong emotions. For when he did not weep, he raged, and all of creation trembled.
Give me a second. Adam is rolling a knowledge D&D check, but that's not what should be happening. No, Widget does not know anything about history. Religion?
For the thing that drove the raven-haired woman also eventually corrupted him. It was a tale of be careful what you ask for, or how love can not always be pure, about the corruption of things. The shadows around the village draw closer. You see your cousin. What's his name? He's the one that is the one that was destined to become a paladin. Like, he's the one that you were always compared to. Like, why can't you be more like...
a second. Alden.
Alden? Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna write that one down. You see Alden there. He sort of like has this this stern look on his face, and he's shaking his head slightly at your display as you're running around behind the screen and trying to make. Oh yeah, you did shadow puppets.
He did become an illusionist.
Why did you do this to me? Why? Because I could. You were but a stepping stone to greater things. You weren't always this way. You weren't always this way. And the giant reached out and tried to restrain the raven-haired woman and tore the end of her cape. Remember, you used a piece of black velvet to kind of represent the end of your cape, and you kind of let it fly down to the ground, but the cloak turns into something much more shadowy and is sort of lying along the side of the stage.
We will try to grab it.
Okay. You remember the giant... You left out parts in your little performance, but you remember what the book read. The piece of the cape that he had was a piece of the cape before she was corrupted. Or it was the part of the cape that still had its threads intact from the time before her corruption. It looks like a gnomish-sized cloak.
Are the shadows still encroaching on the...
Yep. They don't seem to see the older widget.
Will... Oh no. I will... I have one spell that might help. We're going to Mirage Arcana the town square to cloak us in a big illusionary tent of hiding. He's going to try to hide the townspeople in a...
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily... I guess it could be a stone igloo that is more than 5 feet thick.
The little giant toy you were using actually kind of like flips its head over, its eyes open up, and it looks straight at you. All that follow her will be consumed.
Yeah, but how do you stop her?
Stop the thing in her shadow.
That's what I mean. How do you stop shadow?
The thing in her shadow is not shadow. It's from out there. Widget, you have the cloak on and you're kind of like, your vision goes out and like, oh, you're leaving the planet, there's a little tiny moon, and oh, there's the solar system, and it's like shrinking out, and like you kind of travel through the planes, and you go, oh, this plane is really bad, there's like an infinite almost layer of horrible things you're catching glimpses of, and then there's just a little pop. And you can see this bubble. And an endless nothing outside the bubble. And there's something about the endless nothing that makes you very, very afraid. You swear there are things moving out there that you don't want to see. This is a place that gods fear tread.
Can I breathe?
You end up breathing because you're screaming. You're back in the monastery with this cloak around your shoulders. I don't know if you have a cloak slot item or...
I don't think you did. I think Widget was a simple man of simple tastes.
Okay. It is a cloak of midnight weave. It is called the Tenebrous Cloak, I believe.
Tenebrous Cloak, yep.
And it is a piece of the elfin, the dragon and elf shadows cloak before she was corrupted.
It's her... I would want to use the word goodness, that might be a little strong, but her less... not aberrant.
You realize you're just screaming to no one.
What are you looking at?
You managed to go outside, and Zeta and Murgavane's holding on to some nut, and then you like, hey, where's Grizak? And you guys
Who's
went
nut?
over. You guys went over and woke Grizak up. But when you got to the surface, there was a moment where Zeta seemed to be really concerned and got really frustrated, and then very quickly it was clear that she was going to cast a horrible spell on you to mentally dominate you, and that's when Widget decided to teleport away. Where did Widget teleport to? Let me open up a map just to kind of show you what...
Alright, well, let's, what are my options here? My home is way, way, way east.
The Golden Hills are down here. It's actually not very far. 50, 60, which would be 12 hexes, 12 times 60.
12 times 60 is 100. It's
7200.
like 76 or something like that.
Yeah,
760?
720 miles away.
720. So that's in range.
Yep. Terrasleen, I don't know if you... Terrasleen is...
I think Terrasleen might be out of... Oh, no, Terrasleen's in range.
Is in range.
And Tebrin.
Tebrin is 55, so it's in range. Vatapul is not. I think it's too far away. It's 85.
The only place where, if I'm being attacked by my party, the only place I know to possibly defend myself is the Shadow Plane, and Tebrin is the way to get there. So I think we go to Tebrin.
Okay.
Because I don't need to go into the Golden Hills. I need to go there when I have a solution. Right now, I only have a problem.
Okay, so what is Widget doing in Tebrin? Is his goal to just hang out in Tebrin, or to lie low there, or is it to go to the Shadow Plane? So it sounds like
he wants to go to Ludrada.
Okay. And then once there, what's the thing that Widget doing?
Needs to quote unquote train. Let's be honest here. He's currently built like a gladiator who's meant to hit things with a stick and be snarky.
Got it.
So he needs to train in something other than sarcasm.
Oh, so he's gonna go on like a rebuild quest almost.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
If he's gonna have like, if he's gonna be important, then yeah.
Well, there is power in that cloak, and the item with Widget, and you don't know whether it's because you're chosen or simply because you have the item, or you're at the right place at the right time. But Mythic is a thing that Widget has, and it's rank 1 of some path that you'll have to decide on.
It's not gonna be a fighter with likes of Cade, because it's not gonna. That's not gonna work.
Okay, so Widget basically is. I'll make a note. I think what we're gonna do, given that your goal is to retrain, that'll take some time. So we'll kind of keep track of what Widget is up to, and I guess Widget will have to deal with whatever the party kind of throws at him. Widget can now see in the dark pretty well, as there is something that I added to Widget's sheet called Shadowbound Corruption.
Yeah, I saw that.
Stage 1.
Yeah.
You don't know whether this is also part of the cloak or the mythic, or if it's just the corrupted dragon and elf shadow is also changing you.
Or which of the artifacts he's carrying that might be causing the problems.
let's just list off what the you started a montage, a training montage. Yeah.
The shadow compass, the shadow star.
Yep.
Now this tenebrous cloak. And then a whole bunch of shadow stuff on top of that. He's got the funeral urn and dust from the Dusk Lord.
Okay. In addition to the corruption, and
as well as the Drusia Umbravilda statue that casts sending to Drusia Umbravilda herself once per 10 day.
Okay. The corruption also has set into Widget this seed of a thought that it would really feel good to destroy something beautiful.
That's something we can do.
Like a piece of art or something that people admire. You kind of nibble on that thought a little bit, and yeah, doesn't have to. Doesn't. What's that?
Fake spire.
The
fake rod. That is this artistic centerpiece. Step 1, disintegrate.
All right, so Widget, a little more cruel and somewhat betrayed by one of his party members, retreats to Tebran. I think now we go back to the Twin Mounts of Avacia and see what the others are up to after this event.
Widget's gear is really like well distributed. He's got almost every slot. He's got a thing in almost every slot. He falls around a bunch of really
really powerful people on their adventures, and they kitted you out pretty good. Okay, so Widget has effectively GTFO'd after Zeta tried to dominate person, and that seemed to send a ripple of kind of anger through the party, or some party members. Like Zyra is obviously pissed.
Monastery.
It is already provided tasks at stage 1. What face? Yep. I'm pulling the Shadowbound Corruption actually from one of the Pathfinder books. I think it's called the Book of Horror. Horror.
The other book is good too. I mean,
horror adventures. Yeah.
I'm not certain why that was the approach we were taking to Widget.
It was the most expedient, is what Zeta says.
Yeah, but I mean that's not right. Like, I wouldn't let you do that with me.
Kate's like,
What was she doing? What happened? Why did he teleport away?
Do we know where he went? And Zyra's gonna roll a heal check to notice Zeta's extra ribs.
Sure. She's rubbing them, so.
There was a whole thing about your ribs hurt. I remember.
Yep.
I'm a magical healer. I'm not a rub the ointment. I'm a cast the spell kind of healer. 23.
There seems to be something a bit odd with the physiology of your great niece. She has a... Oh, it's gone. For a brief moment, she had an Adam's apple.
We'll switch to High Elven for a second.
Okay.
Is something wrong? Your
heal check for
anatomy
Zach,
is not
36.
stable.
We should discuss this at another time. And she kind of, tosses her head down, kind of... You're not in privacy, you can't see our Ymeri, but he was talking to you guys before from where you're all standing on top of this monastery. We'll talk later. Let's just say that I've been reunited with my brother. And I saw the Seldarine. Well, not saw them, I heard them. They did something. And they're leaving.
Are you Ymeri? Is the little one in danger?
Which little one do you speak?
You know, the guy with the
Widget
what's
is
his
what he's
goddamn
called.
name? Oh yeah, right. Okay. That guy. You said he was. You're happy that he took the gift.
Yes.
That guy.
The others that have come, I sent away. But you, so many destined, arriving here at the same time, cracked the seal. The seal of the gods is cracked by your actions or the actions of others, and it was a sign that it was time. As it was written, so it shall be.
I hate that phrase.
Cade's making sure not to get too close.
Renee notices something moving around in one of his quivers.
Something moving?
Yeah. You could actually hear it moving, like, tinking up against the metal tips of one of the quivers.
He's going to turn around to take. Like he's going to make certain that the dragon guy is going to be able to see.
Okay, it's in, like, I don't know, your third quiver. You probably have a ton of them.
Yeah, he does actually. He has the he carries 400 arrows that aren't in the magic quivers, just in case we're in an old magic zone, right?
So this quiver, let's say, like, this is like some tertiary or like quaternary quiver.
This is the non-masterwork quiver that has arrows in it.
You had a little flap over the quiver to kind of keep the fletchings dry, but you notice that there's this pulsing red light coming from the quiver itself, or whatever is moving at the bottom of it.
He's going to quickly check to make certain that Grintharke didn't mess with him, just because that's a thing.
Yep, you check your keys, wallet, cell phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you check your
barn
pouches.
doors, barn doors closed. You know.
Your shoes are tied.
Yep. Okay.
Not together.
We'll put our finger in the thing.
Okay, you pull it out. Oh, you've completely You don't remember having a red fletched arrow in this. The fletchings look fine and like they're made out of crystal. And there's an arrow moving around. It sort of feels like the arrow's trying to get out. Like as you uncover it and look in. You see at the bottom of it, the arrow has a beautiful looking ruby tip that is glowing. Pulsing, actually.
What is it gonna do? Craft Fletcher?
There are tiny shards of ruby that make up its fletching. It's an impossible task to have made ruby that fine.
Cool.
This is clearly a sign of the ruby sorceress Weejass, your goddess.
Okay, that would be important because the thank you for the clue because I forgot about the nickname.
It's not like you deal with 100 tasks in a week, have a whole other life and work. And how dare you forget this minutia?
No, the third gnome de guerre of your god.
Right.
Yeah. Let it out.
Okay, so you take it out. While it's pulsing, it actually sort of leaves like a trace of light in the air as you pull it out, and everyone kind of goes ooh when you pull out this beautiful arrow. This thing is a work of art. Its shaft is made from bone.
Bone and ruby arrow. He'll say a prayer to Ouijas.
Okay.
He will cast guidance upon himself.
You call upon Ouija's power to cast a spell in the vicinity of the arrow, and it wants to be loosed.
All right.
You have it in your hand. You can kind of feel it, like after you cast guidance on yourself, you feel it sort of tugging.
All right. I'm not going to shoot it at Ymeri. I will turn and loose it at. I'm basically going to arc up and fire it to the sky. Just to see if I have a. See what we're aiming for.
Lands on Ymeri. Oh crap!
No. It's gonna be just to try to make We're gonna fire it at like the optimal 38-degree arc or whatever it is.
Yeah, you are atop the highest peak in Abyssia, the rooftop of the world, where the air is super thin and where the gods are believed to first step down when they do visit this world. You raise your bow, stretch it back without taking a breath, as you are a ghoul. You let it fly. What direction do you let it fly in?
We are going to make it fly. Have it fly.
I'm trying not to giggle at some of Kenny's comments.
That's a fun statement right there. It just goes to the moon. Well, it was one of those things where I was thinking about I should target the moon. The moon's, I'm assuming the moon's not out. We're gonna fire west.
Okay.
Towards where the sun sets.
You fire west. The arrow is flying straight and true, but then it zips off like it had its own mind, and it's kind of going southwest, west-southwest, and down.
Damn, that's a new trick. Why would you shoot that arrow? It's pretty
It's
nice.
going
Get it.
and going and going, and then 6 seconds later it disappears, and there's a glow coming from your quiver.
I got to submit that is interesting. It is
This magical
holy
arrow is returning. As in, it reappears in your quiver. It doesn't seem to be active, like the pulsing kind of pulses down a little bit, but...
Where do you think you are going? We're going to speak to the arrow in Hedian.
How dense is this guy?
Hey, so you pull it out again? You're like,
I'm just. He's not pulling it out of the quiver. He's just going to talk to it in the quiver.
okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't say anything, but it definitely got pulled in a particular direction.
All right. Well, Renee's basically staring, like, he's doing the golfer's thing where you stare at where your ball went into the woods, because that's where you have to go to get your ball back.
Where did you find that, Zazita?
It was in on my quiver.
Oh, when did it show up?
Must have been when I was not looking. Must have caught me sleeping.
That's kind of cool. So,
It is cold atop this mountain, says Mergovane. You guys all have Endure Elements on, but there's obvious kind of like glow coming from the Endure Elements as it's keeping the coolness at bay.
Is Cade still beat to absolute piss?
No, I think
Grizak
he got
healed
a heal spell from Grizak.
Alright.
Yep.
We've got 3 oracles, or 3 people who can cast heal, so...
Oh, a quick question, Marty. When does the mythic abilities and levels and powers kick in?
Now?
Now?
Yep.
Look at this! A question, did we figure out the living lightning elemental?
Yes?
Is that that costs me a wild shape to do, right? It's not free.
Yeah, so just like you can turn into an air elemental, an earth elemental, a
just
fire
turn
elemental, and a
into
water
that,
elemental,
okay.
you can also turn into a lightning elemental. We'll have to define what its stats are.
Got it. Okay, cool.
And then you can also summon lightning elementals.
Lightning elementals.
Just equivalent to air elementals for shortness. Like there is actually
there is a lightning elemental.
Yeah, that is what you summon. What I'm saying is, wherever it says air elemental, you can also now summon.
Anything that says air also
lightning
has
elemental.
lightning. Cool. Are lightning elementals on the spectrum between air and water?
They are more air elementals than anything.
Well, they're like a subset of air elemental?
Yeah.
I'm going to pee myself if I'm not careful.
Okay.
That is always a bad thing.
So what I'm meaning is the same size as the elemental that you can normally summon.
Right.
So if you can summon small elementals, you can then summon small lightning elementals.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
well,
Actually, no.
so we need to communicate with Widget. He shouldn't have left. You shouldn't have done that spell on him.
He's corrupted, says Zeta.
No, the dragon said he's not. Not for you to decide alone. We all decide. Or Zyra does. We need to do a spell.
He looks at the casters like,
To tell him to come back, because we're not gonna let that happen. I don't know what spell. Don't look at me like that.
Okay, Zeta is just crossing her hands and looking away. She looks pissed off.
Anyway,
You doubt she's gonna cast any spells.
yeah.
so the wild sending, yeah, the wild shape. Sorry. So for Grizak's mythic abilities, I'll just tell the stream because it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Grizak took the feat, extra mythic power,
Mm-hmm.
so 7 points of mythic. Surge, hard to kill. Longevity was a bonus, and then the ability to turn into an elemental, lightning elemental.
Longevity was a bonus to a couple of your characters for suffering through Pathfinder playtest. I believe Zyra has longevity, and then Grizak has longevity.
Cool. The myth. So for his, so he's a Hierophant, and for his ability, he took Inspired Spell, which allows him to take as a mythic point, standard action, cast any standard action spell in his list.
Yep.
The second one, the feat he took was Dual Path Archmage, and I took Wild Arcana, which is the exact same thing.
For
Except I can do that with any sorcerer spells, any wizard spells.
yes, and
that are not even known.
To keep it sane, we have reduced this to the core rulebook spells and
Yeah.
any of the weird spells that you already know.
Oh.
Just so you're not pulling out these spells and I have to like
Go look. Yeah, you know, that's what we did for the
yeah.
Hero Legends.
yeah.
Two of the most useful powers in Mythic, right there. You got, two of
Yeah,
the three
and then the
most
extra
useful.
and the feat to fuel that casting.
Yes.
Yes, Grizak feels a lot like Lemmy now.
Lemmy never had the wizard spells.
Oh,
He only had cleric and druid, which overlapped quite a bit. This is a lot more.
Grizak, I think the powers of chaos have new players upon their board.
So here's what, if Arlen gets Mythic, who kind of looks like he's on that sort of path, Arlen and Grizak will be they're evoker divine sorcerers. It's going to be the same.
Yeah, that's the thing. Grizak and Arlen, it's just the way they are. The way
One
they're
has
built.
legs, one is a giant bear. That's the
One
difference.
has one has a beard, one has no legs.
And then Zeta No Brainer took the option of having the third class added, and I believe Zeta has chosen Witch.
Is it? What?
So
how
she is
many
a
levels
sorcerer.
of that class?
She
Just to
will.
retrain it. It's Gestalt.
It is a second Gestalt.
Full?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
She should have done fighter.
Wow!
I actually like her choice of Witch.
Wow!
She has a big weakness.
Yeah, for her fort save.
Fort save is still like 5.
Hit points, fort save. Yeah, that's still bad.
Hit points, fort save.
Yeah, as she has been reunited with her brother as they were separated in the womb at birth. Now, as the first elf, they are one. Strangeness there.
Yeah, the umbilical cord. All sorts of. I was kind of imagining some god using them as a parabolas, just grabbing the umbilical cord in the middle and chucking them.
Metaphorical bolas of the Silverine. No, what the first elf means is not certain, and Zeta definitely has an arc.
That concept has been in other Martyverse campaigns before.
What's that?
A couple different renditions, like the progenitor species, the pre. This is a. I wonder what evolutionary thing, and I'm using the word evolution kind of not as like scientific evolution, but like what event occurred to go penis, vagina. What coin toss of the gods of like hunt and kill, make a baby. Like there's definitely a
The elves are a much older race than humans as well, so
yeah. See, the elves laid eggs. So it's just like that would be. Imagine being the first like sexed elves, like the first ones of like, now what?
the innocent creatures of some primordial forest, dancing in the light and the shadow,
Yeah. Remember the
exploring their surrounds and themselves. Yes, there might be. I don't know who's having these thoughts right now in the party, but yeah.
Grizak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grizak's
How many arms?
Let's go.
All right, you guys are standing along these wind-swept mountain heights after discovering new powers and new items. Your little gnome has disappeared, teleported away to parts unknown.
Our curse mule has disappeared. We lost.
Grizak suggested casting, or I think Cade suggested casting a spell to find him. Zeta just crossed her arms and just sort of looked away, like angry.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
He's
come here for a
corrupted.
reason?
Yes, she whispers closer to Zyra. She says, the you know what? She's kind of making it. We might have to fight him for it. But I don't think we can fight him, because he's guarding, well, power.
Yeah, I don't want to kill that guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fucking impossible, but...
Has this been laid out all proper? I might have jumped around when watching the replay and missed some detail.
They talked about so
I think there was I caught a chunk of conversation with our Ymeri about the egg, like
Yes.
or about the dragon, the Tarnished Silver.
Yep.
correct.
He won't give it to us, I think is the summary.
Nope. It's not for you. Doesn't belong to you. Doesn't belong to the Tarnished Silver either. He can go.
Go fuck himself.
He can go fuck a coach.
I like that.
That's not the exact words, but no, our Ymeri was quite clear that that treasure you shouldn't even know about, let alone possess. It is not yours to possess.
I can't hide from my wisdom character dragon. That's gonna be super hard.
Okay.
Renee wants to go where the arrow was headed.
Yeah,
that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Murgovane wants to go into Yggdrasil, of course. Like you guys did.
What's left for us to do here? Get Grintharke. Get the fuck out.
Wait a moment. Zedek is like listening to something that isn't there. I understand. We'll talk shortly. She's counting words.
She's doing a sentence.
We went for a walk. We'll be back in the quarters in an hour.
No, he's lying too.
That was our friend Wyax. He says that he's purchased the contents of the vault that contains Grintharke.
Oh, by the way, there's a ton of treasure down that mountainside.
I think we have a problem here if we want Grintharke back. He said he will trade those contents for the egg.
I'm fairly certain it is not. It is better to make diplomat disappear than it is to make a problem with king. I mean, not king, king, whatever you call.
Here's a question. Owning the contents of that vault, can't we just, like, steal it? Not the vault, I mean the rights to opening the vault.
Well,
is it a key or a copper thing or something like that?
Murgovane, you know where the vault is, right?
Yeah.
Well, is there any chance?
It's well defended, and likely defended with spells. There's no gliding into that place and no teleporting, and there's a strange room that rotates. It has 3 openings like a branch.
Alright, so,
Cade's like,
I can punch through it.
It's like a 3 branches that meet in the middle that rotate around a branch that is crossed.
And effectively he's describing like 2 hallways that are crossed like this, and then a moving room that has 3. So at only one time, only one of the doors is open.
It's dwarvish stuff.
I could just punch right through it.
Or that we would fight guards.
Well, how long would it take for you to get Grintharke out of there?
I don't know.
Do we have a way of getting in? How protected is it from the gliding? What if we poof through as a cloud of smoke? Is it protect from poof?
Are there any cracks or tiny holes I can probably just go right?
If you were invisible, perhaps in an end like smoke, that might be a way in.
Alright, we could try that.
This poof plan might work. Smurfane is using the words that you strange mammalians are using.
It's simple. You just turn into gas.
It's called gaseous form.
They should just call the spell Grizak. Oh no, wait, that's Stinking Cloud, says Zeta.
There you go. That's an 8th circle spell. Components: beans. Oh, that's a bit of ozone there. Don't wonder about that one.
Zeta's rolling her eyes.
You love it and you know it.
Do we have access to gaseous form?
Yeah, I think I do. You're trying to figure it out here.
Alchemist, bard, magus, medium, occultist, psychic, sorcerer, wizard, spiritualist, air domain, elemental domain, air.
Gaseous
Elemental
form.
school air.
Sounds like Mythic Point.
Yeah. That's what's gonna be. As long as it's standard action.
Yeah, it's standard
action. Willing corporeal creature touched.
Alright.
Wait, is there?
My day has been very long. I'm gonna go grab some of that leftover pizza upstairs.
This is.
I'm pretty certain we can come up with the solution, and we might even be able to go buy a wand of this or something to help out with it.
This is a 3rd level spell. There's got to be a higher level spell than that. I think Windwalk allows you to do this as well.
I mean, technically, Windwalk would let you do this, but it's just a really high level spell to be doing something relatively straightforward.
No, but Windwalk will allow. Go ahead. Windwalk will allow us to do everybody. Windwalk will allow us to get multiple. Kids are here. We forgot about that. Let's just see. You alter substances, a cloud-like vapor as a gaseous form spell. Then yes, we'll use that.
Okay.
Or we can do it tomorrow. This is a 6th circle spell. I could just memorize a whole. Yeah, no, we'll do it tomorrow. I'll memorize Windwalk a whole bunch of times, and we'll just do that. I could spend mythic points and just go do it now, but kind of holding on to those. Because stealing from a dwarven vault, I think we're gonna have some issues. So let's just keep those.
Well, if we do it tomorrow, we could just Windwalk. A whole bunch of us, and we can just go do it.
Windwalk's not very precise, though. You move very quickly in Windwalk.
No. Yeah.
Well, actually, let me a sec. I think you actually move very slowly at first. Let me the wind here. 10 feet. Flies at a speed of 10 feet with perfect maneuverability. If desired, a wind drafts the walker up to 600 feet per round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, you'd notice if you're a powerful bard like me. The spell slows. You can go slow if you want, or you can go fast. Yeah.
All right.
Take 10 on that. That'll work. Yeah.
And we need.
And he high five Sparky.
And we do this invisible.
Yeah, you put invisibility on everybody and smoke and
And we will have the spells we need to do this tomorrow.
I mean, we can do it now. Let's see,
Where's Windwalk? 6th. Oh, 7th. So it'd be 1, 2, invisibility. 7.
I can do a whole bunch of invisibility. I can do 7 invisibilities today, and I can do the windwalks.
Well, then what's stopping us?
Grizak, what did you do? Grizak, what did you do?
Are we? Where are we right now? Are we? I assume
You
we're
guys,
flying.
no, you guys are at the top of the
No,
monastery.
we're leaving. We're gonna start moving our what's down. Start moving down and moving our characters down the mountain.
Okay, that's right. You spent some time searching for the gear. You found nothing.
Yeah, we were up here on the
and then
right
you're gonna
side.
go down. Okay.
And then we start going down towards the.
So you fly back down to the to our Ymeri. The guards are really confused because you're outside. Or are you flying back in through one of the windows?
No, we'll go through one of the windows. We don't want to go through the front gates.
Okay. You guys find your way back inside our Ymeri, and you're heading back towards your.
We'll go towards our private sanctum.
Yeah, your private sanctumed room. Okay, there is a note left for you on the table of the private sanctumed room.
Okay.
There's a note here. Hold on.
It says
I can't read this.
it's in Elven.
I can't read this.
Someone drew some squiggly lines here. It's garbage.
I have 2 summoned creatures next to me. Chaos elementals. Okay. Windwalk. One does not merely walk into the
But with his kid sitting beside him is awfully cute.
Yes. You mean the kids, not me. What would you not have access to? Yes, Kenny, I know. I'm very stingy with my mythic, well, now I am. For now, I am stingy with my mythic points.
I'm waiting for him to use a mythic point to cast Prestidigitation.
Yeah. Good. But I already know it! Really angry Volt. Voltmancers.
Here, I mean, there's a problem. If they have a field that stops magic, that would kind of. I mean, if we're halfway in the wall, ooh.
Written upon a sheet of copper with what looks like somebody's claw is the following note left for you in your embassy quarters.
Your lost friend was found. I have transferred his person and the contents of the vault to our mutual friend. Who's our mutual friend?
The dragon. So, it appears we're being drawn into a very decisive decision. Are we fighting a gold dragon guardian of the power of God? Or do we fight silver dragon, defender of the realm, last of his name.
I think we should fight the gold thing and take that egg. It can be used for great good in our war, says Zeta.
How did you deliver it? We just came down here. You just came from right from up there.
And what does this? It controls dragons, does it not?
Gold ones. And I believe it also controls or can control those who wield the other orbs. It is the chief of such orbs.
Hold on a second. Why don't we just go and tell him to give us Grintharke?
He went through a lot of... I feel we are being used, says Mercovane.
Yeah, I don't like this guy. Last or not last, I think he would be an easier target. Just putting it out there.
Which one would be an easier target?
The silver dude.
And what gives you that idea?
Because he said it's gonna take all of us to take on the gold one. Why didn't he just do it himself?
Because fighting something one-on-one is risky, says Zeta, looking at Cade.
He just got lucky.
Sure. She doesn't believe you.
Well, it should
Many
be obvious
times in a row.
We might be able to do this without fighting either.
We should go and speak with him. He's honorable.
Which one's honorable?
Gold one.
We did that already.
But Grintharke.
I don't know if that particular Steak would be all like, help me get my teeth back. He's all teeth-like, the teething.
Okay, so sorry. This is just so I understand. Who has Grintharke?
Silver Dragon.
The one you talked to at the Butte, when you first arrived here, who set you up with the ambassador. You realize the who's confused? Grizak?
Oh, it was me. Because I thought the Silver Dragon diplomat is the Silver Dragon.
Yes,
He is.
Zeta
In the
goes,
mountain.
Grizak, you realize that the ambassador is the Silver Dragon.
There's a silver dragon?
The dragon we talk. I don't know why we bother with him.
He has problems with colors, remember?
The ambassador is a dragon. He wants the golden thing. We want the golden thing. We should go. We should fight both dragons, is what Zeta says.
He looks at Mergravane.
I think she means the green mud lizard.
As much as I do not like the demeanor of the Golden Protector, if he is capping some power and preventing evil from capturing it.
You saw that thing on Widget's back. It was darker than night itself.
I will attempt to identify it via knowledges.
Oh yeah, what does this cape do, by the way?
The cape of...
It looked a little stylish. I mean, it had a bit of a flick to it.
Oh, there we go.
Knowledge.
Yeah, Zeta goes and identifies Grizak's cape, cloak for him. Knowledge, religion.
Knowledge religion. Yeah, we are having a mid-adventure crisis, Kenny. It's which dragon do we kill? And I think the answer is we don't kill any of them. We just
which
steal Grintharke and be done with it.
metallic dragon are we going to attack and kill?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second. So, first things first. Grizak's cloak. And then the cloak that you rolled a 25 for. So, Zeta identifies the cloak. This is the cloak that you took off of the
Yeah, it's the Cloak of Storms.
Yep. So this is called the Cloak of Storms. It provides electricity resistance 20, a +5 competence bonus on spellcraft checks. Secondary is as an immediate action. Once per day, you can counter any air, electricity, or water spell as per Dispel Magic. If successful, the person who cast a spell instead takes 1d6 points of electrical damage per level of the spell that was countered with a DC 18 reflex save. So
Level in this case means circle or cash level?
This is per spell level. That's a little zap for...
Yeah, the lightning bolt gives you a 3d6. Sort to the...
Yeah.
Ooh, not bad.
It is a shoulder slot item. I don't know if Grizak has.
I have
shoulder.
the Blue Ward Cloak, which is a cloak of resistance +4. Resist electricity 10 and endure elements.
It sounds like a decision needs to be made.
No, he's got both. He's the one's equipped, one's not.
Fucking greedy.
Ooh, all right. Let me see how this one fits here.
You can't wear both of them upon your shoulders, Grizak. They'll nullify each other out.
He ties one around his waist.
Yeah, there we go. This one will come in handy at some point.
Spellcraft, that's actually really useful.
Which one is he wearing?
The Blue Ward Cloak, the resistance
The one
item
that he already
+4.
had on, yeah.
The most useful part of that is the dispel thing.
Yeah.
Alright,
Here you go. Here you go, Zyra.
Does Zyra have a cloak?
Yeah. Zyra has a cloak of shadows, actually, which means that
you gave it to Iana.
I haven't given it to Diana. She's not wearing a cloak.
Yeah, your shoulder's cold. Here, let me put it on for you. Put it on for you.
It's on.
All right.
How did you get it to smell already?
I just wrapped it on my butt. You know, so you're supposed to get your items to be familiar with you. Do that with everything.
Oh, do we now?
Ah, that's how I cast spells.
You're so foul, Grizak. It is a good thing that you're an excellent caster and a decent druid.
Supposed to be good. Am I supposed to be good with animals?
Were.
Seldrine, save us.
Which dragon are we fighting? And what do we know about golds or silvers or whatever? This is Mergovane.
That is a very good question. I would prefer to do this without fighting either.
She says in High Elven back to her aunt, yes, but dragons have hordes, and they don't seem to be doing anything good but sitting around, waiting. Whereas we could
Why
put
don't we
these
take
hordes
care of the silver one then?
we could put these hordes to good use.
That does sound like logic that I... Yeah, that...
What?
Cade's like,
She's also got a really mean edge to her, and, you know, killing things seems to be her solution.
All right. I
On the
say
list of
silver
solutions.
one. Silver one's useless. Not doing anything anyways. We could probably use that thing on the top of the mountain to summon more dragons and let them go through the shadow swarm. That'd be a good idea.
Cold or fire. Silver is cold, and gold is... The one at the butte is cold, Grizak. The one atop the mountain is fire.
I believe he gets geographic descriptions correct.
Mm.
Yeah,
So the one at the butte
First,
will also
first
have
census you made.
paralyzing breath, whereas the gold dragons have weakening breath.
Here, a couple of freedom movements to get you through that, no problem.
I think freedom movement prevents paralysis.
Yep. Paralysis, hold person.
Does
bunch of
paralysis breath do what I think it does? Just paralyze?
Yes. For
You know what could we really use before we fight the dragon?
What could we really use? Grizzly?
Your bow! I remember you used to shoot down and flying mud lizards all the time. Barbecue time. Yeah.
Yes.
Water. Yes.
Flying mud lizards.
They probably do not like being called that, says Murgovan.
They're too stupid to understand anyways. So, have you laid any eggs lately or not?
Oh, I do not lay eggs.
Oh, tell me if you start.
Murgovan. His lips curl.
Here,
and
I'll show you how to lay an egg.
I wouldn't want to harm the owl. Please stop trying that, Grizzly.
It's gone.
You do not have a cloaca.
How you summon one of those?
This is a waste of time. We need to get moving. We're gonna
Agreed.
fight the silver one, or we're gonna fight the gold one. I
could-
don't think fighting the gold one is a good idea.
We could use the egg to wake up the sleeping dragon. Whether it's a god or not, I don't know, but surely a awakened gold dragon is better than a sleeping one.
How about we do that after we get the bow? That apparently is really good.
Oh, you mean
And Grintharke.
Sulla's bow? I heard about that, she says.
Yeah, my bow. It is. It was borrowed by Gerzak, or by Grintharke, apparently. How hard would it be to you? What is the range of the egg?
What do you mean?
Did we wake up the dragon from the mountain?
I think it's the vicinity. Might be hundreds of feet. I really need to get my hands on it to legend lore it.
Oh yeah, legend lore. Look at that.
So many options.
I think legend lore has a long casting time, though.
Yeah. It's not something you're going to be doing while it's like
I
underguard.
think it's 10 minutes, isn't it?
It depends on how far away you are from the item or person you were trying to lore about.
D4 10 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So, it should be easier to steal from the hold than it would be to steal from the boat.
It will be mad, and it will come to tooth and claw.
Says Murgovan as he rakes his whetstone across his massive blade.
And we'll be ready. And he's looking over at Cade.
He's fixing his nose.
Almost ready for you.
God, got so lucky.
Murgovan's
Like,
nostrils
like
flare
that,
like
Saint of Amaris.
he's getting psyched up for a fight.
All right, so we're going to Silver Boy. Okay.
Either one will offend the dwarves.
Really? I don't think they care about the silver one.
The silver one is their ambassador.
Well, captain doesn't like him. But the guards. Just saying.
Either
Maybe we should explain to them.
we
Maybe we should explain to them that he wanted to kill their golden monk.
we need more allies. This is not getting us more allies.
It is getting us the power that we need, though. More power, we'll be able to strike that temple in the Shadow Plane again. These dwarves are silly.
That is agreed. You're on camera.
Just gonna...
If we're not going to sneak our way through this, we're not going to talk our way through this. If they are being obstinate,
You could try to talk. While you try to sneak, you seem to be able to disappear in front of our eyes, he says. Murgerbane says to Zyra.
I've picked up some tricks.
Maybe you could find the bow and get this Grintharke out of his weird box. It's a box, right?
It is a sarcophagus, which is a fancy word for box.
Yes. Maybe if Grintharke is freed from his box, the dragon doesn't have to know.
Yeah, maybe he's teleport out of there with Grintharke.
Yeah, and then we'll have to look over our shoulders for all of our days, as there's going to be an angry, really old silver dragon.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming. He was hiding in his little hole quite badly.
We never got a look at him. We don't know how big he is.
Bet you he's tiny.
You hope he's tiny.
Why don't you legend lore him?
We actually don't know his name. We know his clan name.
Why don't we ask the golden guy?
Unless Wyax is good enough.
I could also gaze upon him with true sight.
You get to learn a creature's name.
Oh, no, but you can see how big it is. You can see the gargantuan creature backed into a medium package.
Just very comfortable. Very uncomfortable.
We could try to get a look at him, I suppose.
When is the next...
Budra-Zukir is the name of the soldier.
When's the next function that he would need to attend?
That court thing, I think, happens daily or most days.
Well, I believe he has to attend court.
There was an open seat for our Ymeri. Apparently he doesn't come down. We could go there to see if he shows up.
Yes.
That will be in the morrow.
We're mortals. We make mistakes.
Speak for yourself. I meant to get hit by every lightning bolt.
Okay, so you're spending one more evening in the in your lodgings here, your comfortable lodgings.
Or a quick read.
Yeah.
'Cause I think we did. If person thing is at hand, it's minutes. If you have detailed information, it's days. And if you're vague, it's weeks.
Yeah, he'd have to be sitting beside you while you're casting the spell.
Cast it during the daily morning preparations.
Well, looking at him, yeah, that's interesting. You're muttering. So you're.
Give me a second. I think we have a silent rod. Do we have a rod of silence? Silence spell? Could we silence spell him, like, from the crowd? Just Zeta just... going...
Yeah, there'd be somatic and material. You'd
fine.
be smoking some
Doing a dig in
incense.
the thing. That's fine. Here, let's just wait a second. Let's see if we can... because I would... This seems like a fun way to do this. Alright. I thought she had a rod of silence or something. She has still spell and silent spell. So if she has a 6th, she can just sit there and the spell gets cast.
Who?
Zeta has still.
Oh, because it's a bard 4.
Legend lore. It's a bard 4. Does she have a bard 6? Ah, crap. I was gonna do the bard 6. She's a bard 5th. Crap. She doesn't have a 6th circle spell as a bard yet. So she could get rid of the noise. She can't get rid of the visuals, unless we have a rod to stack that with. She can empower. She's got a staff of fire. Ring of wizardry. Horn of blasting. Okay, no, Grizak, you have empower stuff, don't you?
Oh yeah. I used up one of them today. Don't ask.
So were the party there for the fight with the storm, or did you just sort of bugger off and come
Nope.
back?
You buggered off, and then they saw the storm like getting sucked up into the mountain. They're like, "Hey, what is that?" And then
Like,
they
we gotta
teleported
go
up
and
there.
fix whatever Grizak
Yeah.
just did.
Yep. And then they teleported up there.
I don't know that we have a rod.
What about that true seeing? That will give us the information we need, how big it is. Who cares what its name is? If it's going to act like a mud lizard, we'll treat it like a mud lizard.
Out of the spirit. Smash in the face. Acting like a shit.
It just would be useful to know if it happens to be a...
Yes. Certain silver dragons of greater power, I believe, have reflective scales that can reflect spells upon their casters.
Oh, that's not good.
Probably doesn't have those while in human form.
No, ancient or older dragons have those.
That would be useful to know, especially for those who throw around disintegrates.
Did you see that?
See what?
Never mind. Did I tell you how I once killed a storm priest with one shot?
This would be where Widget would be going, you mean the one with the bounty on his head?
Yeah.
You got anything that we can collect? With 30,000 gold pieces.
Yeah, we can't bring anything back. Can't prove it.
He just disappeared.
Right.
Fucking disappeared.
Foof! And the one magic thing that he had, you guys want to keep. So, yeah.
That's fine.
Honest! We sure killed him, yep.
If we were actually bounty hunters and we use that for a job, there's probably a way to get a diviner to divine the end of the...
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Where is he? He's
So
on
we
the
could
mountain
could
somewhere.
legend lore him from the crowd. There would be verbal, or there would be somatic components that would be visible. That's okay. Alternately, we could just do a quick and dirty legend lore.
Trucing.
Sorry, trucing. Yes, that's the one. That's the one I want. I just ate a bunch of pizza in my brain.
Who has trucing spell?
Zyra. She's gonna have to relearn that spell in downtime to get plane shift, but right now she's got trucing.
Grizzak's got that.
Yep.
Okay, so you spend the evening. You re-prepare your spells. No one really bothers you in this place. There is a woman that stops by later that evening to make sure that everything is okay. It is the friend that Zeta made.
Oh.
What was her name again? Her name is Bel Baruna. She stops by with a small army of servants who carrying fresh linens, warm water for bathing or for cleaning, soap, and then a big pot of like an apple. Oh, give me a second. I ordered some food a while back, and that is what it is.
Does Grisek have sending?
No.
So the
It's
only...
it's not a druid spell.
It's a sorcerer spell.
Yeah, but it takes more than a standard action to cast. And I can
Yes.
only cast standard action spells.
I meant out of his normal list, not...
No. It's not a druid. Yeah, it's not a druid spell.
I meant so you did not learn... You
No.
did not learn sending.
No.
No.
I can switch one out and learn, but I can also get a scroll. I'm looking for another spell that would mimic it.
Yes. So if we're... Right now, the only way we have to contact Widget, if we wanted to contact Widget, would be to use one of our sending scrolls.
Yeah. That's what we got him for.
Mm-hmm. I've got 2 of them?
Just go and buy more.
Hmm. Give me 1 second to just take a look. It is Wizard 5th, so Widget could learn this spell. I think he might do that.
Yeah, Bel Baruna comes there with like some tasty apple strudel and some cider. Well, her servants come bringing it in. I hope. Is there anything else that you need? And you can tell that she keeps on looking at Zeta.
believe we're all right for now.
Good. She whispers, my bags are packed.
Where are you going?
Her eyes grow wide. Nowhere, she says, loud, and her servants, you notice a couple of them kind of look over. She gives you a look like, why are you doing this to me?
What?
Might I have a word alone with you?
She nods. She looks at Zeta, and Zeta just nods. Like, you pull her off to the side.
What are you?
Everyone out, she says. Go back to your duties. And all the servants leave.
What are you planning?
Zeta didn't
I
tell
don't
you.
think Adam. I think Adam was there.
Zeta.
Adam knows. I don't know that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Zeta told everyone else. I was there for the I was in chat screaming yes.
First son, Justoon and I, well, if we stay here, we'll never be together. We'll never be married. Zeta agreed that we could go and live in Terrasleen. That we'd be free there.
Yeah, all right. Well, whenever you're ready to go, we can just send you.
Grizak wanders over to the alone conversation. Yeah, right.
Just say the word and send your ass over there.
Yet I need to find some alone time with Justoon to tell him the good news.
Alright.
Yeah, all right. Is this a hush thing? All right.
Are all dwarves from Terrasleen like you?
I didn't see any dwarves in Terrasleen.
He has been touched by the gods repeatedly. It has left lasting damage.
But he
Does
is
not understand species.
he is free to speak as he does in Terrasleen? He would have been chastised and had it beaten out of him long ago.
Terrasleen doesn't... Do you think Terrasleen has dwarvish slaves?
No, but his demeanor would never have been accepted here, is what she says.
Most places are not like here. Even under the Imperium of Man, they are not this strict. There's not many good things to say about the Imperium.
She nods. She doesn't seem to like care about the Imperium.
Yeah, you need time to speak with him.
Yes, to tell him the news, so that he can pack as well.
Why bother packing? Just get whatever you need over there. They have stuff.
Our personal possessions, the things we've spent a lifetime acquiring. You are an odd dwarf.
I have a dress.
Pointing at his kilt.
Look,
Lifts it up.
this is mine.
She averts her eyes and just keeps them shut. Grizak
Oh,
is...
sorry. And the inside's not clean.
I think I'm going to enjoy Terrasleen, although the thought of more of him running around...
There are no more of him.
She looks... relieved.
Grizak, please come over here and leave them alone.
She mouths the word thank you to Kate in Dwarven.
He knows, like,
What, you find a bug? Yeah.
If you want, if you can find a method to have himself and yourself in my line of sight, I can I can establish communication for you for a while. You'll be able to speak from your rooms.
She nods. He will be at the court tomorrow morning. I have my duties there. I will be able to be close to him.
Do you know what he's doing now?
Right now, I don't have any idea. He could be training. Is it training day? I'd have to look at the roster.
Let's go see if he's training.
She nods. So that evening. Well, yes. So he'll be training with his men. Looking upon those who have the newly enlisted in the militia.
Perfect. Is there a place where that training can be overseen?
Yes.
We do not need to be close.
Okay. So you see the general is there. You notice that, strangely, Bolak Ko the Horned is also there. And they seem to be chatting idly as some new recruits are lined up in really crappy splint armor, little wooden shields.
Oh, splint armor, the best thing to fight shadows. Plus 0 dex armor.
Splint armor, like they're kind of like they're bedecked in splint armor. It looks like practice armor, like it might be partially also padded. They have spears and shields, and there's about half a dozen dwarves standing in a line while the first son. Let's grab his token. Hall of Proving. Is he there? He is there. Is overlooking them. Give me a perception check.
Alright. Zira's perception.
From everybody, or just?
Oh, are you going with Zyra? Grizak?
38.
No, Grizak's Cade's gonna keep him busy.
38?
Yep.
There's something about Bolak Ko's skin that makes your skin crawl. You saw it sag in a weird spot.
Which spot?
His mouth area. You actually think he's got a disguise that is magical.
Marty,
Yep.
Code isn't.
by any chance, would this dwarf be the same dwarf that Arlen saw peeing in the pool?
The guy with the horns?
Hmm?
Yep.
I guessed it, but
I don't know about no peeing in no pool, so I know there's an evil ass dwarf here with fiend blood who's basically going, "Look at me, I'm evil." I'm sitting beside a paladin. Isn't my society messed up?
Bolak Ko the Horned, master of the Hidden Vault, is the Miser's Vault.
I'd much rather steal from his vault. I mean, it's very cathartic.
It seems to be they're talking about something, and you see that the first son is marching. There he is. He's inspecting the troops, and there's like 6 dwarves that are there, and he's going first position, and they're all like second position, and like third position. Like he's.
Is he within 1,000 feet of me?
Yeah, you guys are 300 feet away, kind of thing.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Dark Whispers upon Jestoon and Bel Baruna and myself.
Okay.
It's just a message spell